One of the most important skills that a leader possesses is being decisive. Big subject, let's talk about it today. Hello again everyone, I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, we inspire. And we're working on a series based upon the book Leadership Secrets of Attilla the Hun by Wess, PhD. And we've been using some of his prose and then showing how it relates to reality, all right, as a leader. So let's get right back into it. Today our topic is decisiveness. Our seasoned chieftains have become wise through experience as to when it is right to act and when it remains best to contemplate further. On the other hand, our young ambitious Huns, anxious to demonstrate their deftness, will often precipitate actions that result in loss for them, their tribe, and perhaps the nation. Such rashness is unacceptable in those appointed to lead. All chieftains must learn that victory comes to one who knows not only what to do, but when to do it. Young Huns are taught skill in weaponry, mastering the bow, the lance, the lariat, and in horsemanship. They learn the advantage of swift action on the battlefield. They learn to be forthright in demonstrating these abilities. As their mentors, we teach them to take the initiative, to have moral courage and force that make the difference between followers and leaders. We must, however, demonstrate for them the main points possessed by the leader who travels the determining mile between sporadic and spurious accomplishment and resolute performance in all things. One of these points is decisiveness. Now, I give you chieftains counsel for acquiring skill in decisiveness. Here we go. First, noble resolve to do the right thing is characteristic of prudent decision making. Responsible decisions are difficult to improve upon. You know, folks, sometimes right or wrong is black or white. When it is, choose the right decision. It's difficult to improve upon making that right decision when things are that clear. Unfortunately, decision making is infrequently that easy. Wise is the chieftain who never makes a decision when he doesn't understand the issue. In decision making, value is guided by prudence. Or to put it differently, if you don't know what you're talking about, don't. Let's see, can I think of a leader that has done that recently? Let's see, the word hydroxychloroquine, whatever that drug was, comes to mind. If you don't know what you're talking about, you just take all your credibility away when you start espousing it, when you start talking about it, when you start saying like you know what you're talking about and you're talking out of your backside, okay? You've seen that happen with the big leader. How can you make a mistake like that in that position? I don't know. But you don't want to make that mistake. Am I right on that? A chieftain should allow his subordinates the privilege of making decisions appropriate to their level of responsibility. Weak is the chieftain who reserves every decision for himself out of fear that he might lose control. Okay, Eli, I'm talking directly to you. You're getting older. We're allowing you to make more and more decisions. Because you're growing up, you're evolving, you're getting smarter, you're being more experienced with life. You know, when you're 14 years old, I'm not really going to let you get behind the wheel of a car. Now you're, just about at driving age. And, before they give you your license to go out by yourself, you got to go through all the tests. You got to go through practice. You have to have certain driving. You always have to have an adult with you. Why do you suppose they do that? You want to allow the person to make decisions for the level that they've accomplished, their level of responsibility. Let them make those decisions. Don't exceed it, but let them make those decisions. Are they going to make some bad decisions? Yeah. You're going to make some bad decisions. I make bad decisions. But you got to give them a shot at making it. It's the only way they're going to grow and learn. The circumstances of a given moment are not meant to be used as an excuse for being unprepared to make decisions incumbent to a chieftain. Indecisiveness is bred by failure to accept the responsibility of office, be it great or small. Okay, you know what? I'm always talking about Trump kind of in a negative way, but I have to give him a little bit of credit on one thing. Once was anybody expecting a pandemic? I think not. So we had the pandemic. He took some somewhat decisive action in terms of, hey, no more planes from China. No more planes from places where people can spread that was the right idea. That's the right idea. When you don't expect something to happen, decisions still have to be made. You have to make them, and you have to be decisive on them. You have to be knowledgeable upon them. You want to call together all of your experts so that you make a good decision. But you can't wait on it. You can't contemplate on it, because the worst decision is indecision. You've heard that before. All right, so that was a good decision, but for my money, he could have gone much further, should have gone much further. Different topic, different day. A chieftain who fails to accept full decision-making responsibility or who blames others for his own bad decisions is weak and lacking in an essential inherent quality of leadership. Folks, it's about responsibility. My favorite football team, I'm from Boston, New England Patriots. All right, we've had some very, very good years. We had a very good quarterback, now playing for somebody else. All right, and we have a very, very strong coach. And the ownership is strong as well. The point is, sometimes even a team like the New England Patriots gets their butt handed to them during a game. Invariably, what you will see the leader of leaders for the Patriots, Bill Belichick, say is, my bad, we did not prepare our players for this game as well as we could have. We will accept the blame. There's a lot of blame to go around. They didn't play well. Maybe we got a bad call or two. But we didn't prepare our guys the way that we should have. It's about responsibility. Even if you're not the one throwing the pass or running the ball or playing defense, if you're the one in charge, if you're the leader, it's about responsibility for results. Rarely are there perfect decisions. The best decisions are usually the more prudent of the logical alternatives. When you must be overly persuasive in gaining support for your decision, it's usually a sign of a bad one. You know what makes something a decision in the first place is you have alternatives. There's different ways that you can go, different paths you can travel by. The point is, it's most of the time what makes a leader a great leader is making the right decision, and that's not always obvious. So what you have to do is think carefully, and when you have the lesser of two evils and you're being persuasive to your team, okay, we've run into this roadblock, this is how we're going to overcome it. These are the alternatives. I have chosen this one for us. Here is the why and because. When you make a decision like that, always make sure that you say the why and because. Don't be like the parent that I promised myself, Eli, I would never be with you. Which is when you say, why do I have to do that, Dad? Because I said so, that's why. Always explain the why and because. I made a promise to myself I would never say to you, because I said so. And I have kept that promise. And that promise was made even before you were born. When the consequences of your decision are too grim to bear, look for another option. Compassion is the byword when making difficult decisions that unavoidably have temporary or long-lasting adverse consequences for even a few Huns. Two things come to mind. I remember reading a story, I don't remember which company it was or who the CEO was, but they were running into a major financial crunch and they had to cut back. Now, what they could have done is they could have cut back a ton of jobs, but they realized that, you know, their business was somewhat seasonal to a degree, and the times would get better later on. So what did they decide to do? Decided to give everybody an extra unpaid vacation for a few weeks. And from the top person down to the bottom person, they all took that. And you know what happened in that company? There were some people in the company that were in a better financial position than others, and they said, you know what? I'll take an extra couple of weeks and be off, and this way this person can keep working and keep making money because he or she needs that money more than I. Do you suppose that that unified that company, made them super duper strong? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, you know, when you're in a position where it can be very, very harmful, try and think of something where you can show some compassion. Does that make sense? Next to the importance of knowing when to make a decision stands the insight to know when to forego making a decision. Impatient chieftains often precipitate premature actions. One of the things that people that are new in leadership frequently do is they're looking to impose their power, and they don't think things all the way through. Now, once you've thought something all the way through, you need to go ahead, you need to act. But if you haven't thought it all the way through, you have to be careful. You have to be careful. And you don't want to act just for the sake of acting. Sometimes not doing something is smarter. In sports, the way they say that is, you know what? Sometimes the trades you don't make are the ones that win you the championship. You know, you have a guy on your team and you're thinking like, well, maybe we should trade him and see what we're doing. And you take a closer look and you say, well, he's got these, you know, attributes. He can make these positive contributions. All right, we're going to give him a chance. We're going to stick with him. We're not going to trade him. Sometimes the trades you don't make, and that's decision making. Okay, you know, the decision to not make a change, to stay the course, is the right decision. Okay. All right, decision making is a huge subject. I'm doing it in two parts. This is the end of our first part. Next time we get together, more on this being decisive in decision making. And until that time, always remember, don't ration the passion, fashion the passion. I'm Eli's dad.